Imagine standing at the edge of a decision that could reshape an entire industry with a single stroke of a pen. A room full of attorneys is watching you, waiting for your final signature. 2,000 employees are about to find out their future before the day is over. The acquisition price is fixed at $4.1 billion. After 11 months of brutal negotiations, everything comes down to this moment. The board gave their final blessing this morning. The press release is ready to be sent, and the wire transfer is already staged. You pick up the pen without a second of hesitation. As you sign, the entire market begins to shift. You set the pen down, and the room finally takes a breath. Your mind is already focused on the next task on your list. But you didn't start your journey at the top of the mountain. You began at the absolute bottom of this very same system. Every single floor between that first entry-level desk and this executive suite cost you something you couldn't calculate. The price wasn't always measured in currency. Often you were spending parts of yourself without even realizing it. This is what each of those levels actually looks like and what they demand from you. At level 1, you are a junior business analyst. You are 22 years old and your ID badge still smells like the plastic printer. You realize you are sitting on the 7th floor of a company generating $3.8 billion in annual revenue. Your entire world revolves around data, complex spreadsheets, and slide decks. You spend your days formatting numbers for someone else to present. You build charts for meetings that you aren't even allowed to attend. Right now, you don't mind the grind. You are busy absorbing every detail of how the game is played. You watch how people enter a room and who is given the floor first. You notice that directors never carry their own bags and vice presidents always speak first. At night, you document these patterns in a small notebook. By the time you finish your first year, you stop writing them down because you have internalized the rules. At the end of year 2, your performance review is glowing. You receive a $4,000 raise and a new title. You are now a senior analyst. You feel a sense of pride because the system never gives anything away for free. What you don't know yet is how long you will keep earning things before you finally start owning them. At level column 2, you become a manager. This stage requires you to change companies and move to a new city. Your title is now manager of commercial strategy. Your division is responsible for $900 million a year. For the first time in your life, you have 3 direct reports who answer to you. People start doing things simply because you told them to. You notice yourself becoming calmer and more observant. In meetings, you stop talking and start listening for what people are trying to hide. Your target is a 4.2% margin improvement across 17 different product categories. This is where you approve your first layoff. It is only one person, and the business case takes you 40 minutes to write. You act as a professional, remaining clear and fair in every way possible. You barely hit your numbers. That night, you drink a single glass of whiskey alone in a hotel room. The feeling in your chest isn't happiness. It is something much closer to relief. You make a mental note of that distinction. The president of your division tells you that you possess executive presence. You already knew that. 6 weeks later, a recruiter reaches out with an offer for a director role. It comes with a larger budget and a completely different industry. You take the meeting because taking the meeting is the first rule of the game. Now you are at level 3, acting as a director. You are working inside a company backed by private equity. The rules of engagement are different here. The firm brings in $600 million in revenue and is controlled by owners in New York. Everything here is about the bottom line, not just growth or revenue. You are responsible for 3 business units with $220 million in combined revenue. You have 14 people reporting directly to you. Every month, you face a review with the private equity partners. The lead partner has already read every line of your report before you even walk in. Your first big decision is to shut down a manufacturing plant in Ohio. 83 people will lose their jobs. The mathematics behind the decision are undeniable. You present the plan, and it takes only 11 minutes for the executive team to agree. You are the one who has to fly to Ohio to deliver the news. You stand in front of those 83 people all by yourself. You drive back to the airport in total silence. You don't even turn on the radio because you don't need the noise. The most surprising part isn't the decision itself. It is the total absence of regret. By your second year, the earnings are up by $18 million. The partners start including you on emails that you used to be excluded from. You are moving up. At level 4, you reach the rank of vice president. This title changes the very physics of every room you enter. You are part of the senior leadership team for a $1.4 billion business unit. You oversee 140 people across your entire function. You are the one who signs off on everything now. You lead your first major acquisition of a specialty brand in Europe for $130 million. You spend 3 weeks in Frankfurt and 2 months waking up for 6 in the morning conference calls. The integration is a success and hits all margin targets in the first year. In a company meeting, the CFO gives credit to the entire team. In this world, credit flows upward while blame flows downward. Your job is to make sure your team feels protected from that reality. You are now 36 years old and your net worth has crossed $1.2 million. Surprisingly, you don't feel wealthy. Instead, you feel like you aren't moving fast enough. You are invited to watch your first board meeting as an observer. You sit silently for 3 hours and watch how the chairman controls the room. It looks completely effortless and perfectly deliberate. You realize you will need a level of patience that you haven't mastered yet. Now you enter level 5 as a senior vice president. You are in charge of 1,800 people across 11 different countries. When you look at the organizational chart, your name is at the very top. Below you are 1,800 nodes, and each one represents a person with a family and a mortgage. Every decision you make lands on someone, but you stop seeing the individual impact. You spend 40 minutes testifying before a congressional subcommittee. Every single word you speak has been meticulously prepared by a legal team. You are precise and give away nothing that wasn't planned. As soon as you leave, the news cycle moves on to the next story. You have a chief of staff now and your calendar is controlled by other people. Information reaches you only after it has been filtered and shaped. You are no longer the one operating the business. You are the one deciding its fate. The gap between those two things will only continue to grow. You travel every single week to places like Houston, London, and Singapore. You eat your meals in airports and sleep in a revolving door of hotels. Your relationships at work have become purely transactional. The same is true for your life outside of work. It becomes difficult to tell the difference between the two. You wouldn't say you're unhappy. You are just incredibly focused. You have stopped wondering if there is a difference between those two states of being. At level 6, you are the chief operating officer. You run the day-to-day operations while the CEO focuses on the long-term vision. 11,000 people report to you through various layers of management. Every financial report stops at your desk first. You haven't slept past 4 in the morning in over 3 years. It isn't because you are stressed. It is because your internal clock has recalibrated. When a product recall affecting 2.4 million units hits, you activate the response in 40 minutes. That evening, you brief the board with total composure. The recall ends up costing $180 million, but there are no fatalities. The board is satisfied with your performance. You don't see this as an achievement, you see it as the absolute minimum standard. Before we reach the final tiers of power, make sure to subscribe to Billy Finance for more deep dives into the world of high-stakes wealth. 47 analysts are listening to every word you say on the quarterly earnings call. You have learned to speak a language that communicates direction without ever promising specific details. When the CEO is away, you are the face and the brain of the entire company. One morning, the chairman of the board calls your personal line directly. Level 7 is the role of Chief Executive Officer. On your very first day, you inherit a massive machine. The company does $9.4 billion in revenue with 17,000 employees. The stock price is under heavy pressure and an activist investor holds a 6.8% stake. They have already sent a threatening letter to your board. You spend your first 90 days just listening to the people around you. This isn't because you don't have a plan, it is because you know how to make an entrance. You visit 12 different facilities in those 90 days and hold town hall meetings. Then you make your move. You collapse 4 divisions into 2 and sell off $1.1 billion in non-core assets. The stock price drops 8% immediately, just as you predicted to the board. You were right and they know it. You have 2 quarters to become perfectly fluent in this new level of pressure. The hardest part isn't the weight of the decisions, it is making sure no one ever sees you sweat. 3 years into the job, the stock is up 34%. The board renews your contract without even holding a formal vote. Then, the chairman calls you again for a conversation that lasts only 4 minutes. That short call changes everything as you move toward level 8. At this stage, there are no public announcements or press releases. You won't find your name in any newspaper profiles. Instead, you possess a web of relationships and positions built over 20 years. When the markets are in a panic, your phone rings before the news even breaks. When governments need to restructure sovereign debt, you are in the room designing the terms. You don't hold any position that requires public confirmation. Your name is known only in very specific, very quiet rooms. Your portfolio companies employ 34,000 people across 9 countries. You haven't even visited most of those locations. On a random Tuesday morning, you have a 22-minute call with 3 people. $6.2 billion are moved. There is no recording, no transcript, and no official minutes. You hang up the phone, pour a fresh cup of coffee, and move to the next item on your agenda. Privacy, trust, and human connection were all traded away over the last 20 years for this. You made your choices, and every year you stayed in the game, the price went up. Once more, you made your choice. The results multiplied just as they were supposed to. Downstairs in the lobby, a fresh analyst steps through those gleaming glass doors. His identification card is brand new and still crisp. He spent last night studying the latest yearly earnings report. He has memorized the total income, the head of the company, and even your own name. In his mind, he is simply launching a professional journey. He has no idea he is stepping into a machine with its own powerful gravity. The elevator begins its ascent. The entrance doors seal shut behind him. The overarching system fails to take notice. It truly never does. He is currently unaware of what this structure actually values most, but that realization is coming soon. It always happens eventually. If you found this story compelling, make sure to subscribe to Billy Finance for more financial insights. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. What are your thoughts on this corporate cycle? Let us know in the comments below.